They are hometown heroes, drivers who put their passion on the line in front of their friends. They are the NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series drivers. Welcome to Jack Arute's Wind Tunnel Championship Celebration, featuring NASCAR's Division 1, 2, and 3 national champions. You'll hear from Peyton Sellers, the Division 1 champion.
Here comes Sellers, strong up on the outside. Here we go, 3 wide, got Sellers up in the marbles. Here comes Sellers to the low side off turn number 4, and he'll get top position.
David Greenslit, the Division 2 national champ.
Greenslit gets his second spot. Down the backstretch now for David Greenslit. Off turn 4, he heads for the checkered flag. He gets the win he needs. He's the new national champion.
And the Division 3 titleist, Chad Baxter.
Here comes Baxter moving his way up. Look at Baxter, 3 wide down the backstretch. They're 3 wide in 2 different rows.
Now, here's your host for this celebration, Jack Arute.
Welcome to this special Wind Tunnel edition that celebrates the 2021 NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series champions. This season, thousands of drivers spread across both the United States and Canada chased their passion at weekly operated short tracks, and they did so in front of their friends and neighbors. And in the end, from those thousands, 5 drivers emerged, becoming the 2021 NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series national champions. We celebrate the accomplishments of Peyton Sellers, David Greenslit, Chad Baxter, Tom McCarthy, and Chris Van Osdale. You'll hear from 3 of these champions, but before we do that, I need to catch you up with the results from the racing world over the last 2 weeks. And that can only mean it is time for Wind Tunnel's news and notes. 2 weeks ago at Talladega Superspeedway, first-time winners were added to the track's record books in both trucks and Xfinity.
They're still green, and Nemechek makes a move to the inside.
To the bottom. John Hunter Nemechek getting a push. Trying to make it to the line. Fogelman is behind him. Fogelman wants to make a move. Can Tate Fogelman do it? Oh. He wrecks Nemechek, and it's Fogelman. Tate Fogelman wins.
Knew we just had to be aggressive. I tried to be passively aggressive there throughout the race and just bided my time, missed the wrecks, but I knew at the end no one was going to give any room to anybody. So I would just push, did the best I could, got pushed from behind, and we were able to do it.
Brandon and Brandon side by side. Brown on the bottom, Jones up top. Oh, we got a crash.
Get down a little.
Harrison burned into the outside wall. Due to darkness, we're coming to a yellow and checkered flag. NASCAR has called the race. Brandon Brown coming down the front straightaway. About to realize.
Oh, taking the checkered board. Let's go!
First ever career win.
You guys, oh my God. Thank you, Dad, so much. We did it, Dad. We did it. We did it. We won.
Oh my God, this is a dream come true. Wow, Talladega, winner of the NASCAR. Oh my God, Dad, we did it. Let's go!
It was ditto for the Cup Series as well after a rain delay moved their event to Monday. The Cup Series' newest winner made history.
The outside line's going to have some momentum here. Both lines coming back to the back bumper of the 23. Here comes Logano.
What does Bubba Wallace do right here? Is he going to make this block? He's going to stay in the bottom lane. Right now, he doesn't have to make a decision, but he's getting ready to. Here comes a big push for Logano.
around goes the 37. Priest is around. He catches the 24 as well as the 21. Caution comes out.
We got raindrops on the windshield of the booth.
Hey, folks, think about what could happen here. Bubba Wallace in front of this field. We're at a very large racetrack. We know from yesterday it takes about 2 hours to dry the track if it's completely lost, and sunset is at 6:30. If all of these things happen, Bubba Wallace could get his first ever Cup Series win at Talladega. It's official. Bubba Wallace gets his first career win. He's just the second African-American to ever win at the highest level of NASCAR. Over 50 years ago, Wendell Scott was the first. Bubba Wallace now, officially, the winner at Talladega.
It obviously brings a lot of emotion, a lot of joy to my family, fans, friends. It's pretty damn cool. So just proud to be a winner in the Cup Series.
Then, this past weekend, it was time for the Xfinity and Cup divisions to tackle the Charlotte Motor Speedway's Roval and cut their playoff rosters from 12 to 8.
Through the final chicane for the final time. Once again, Allmendinger has shown he is a road course superstar. He wins at Charlotte.
Oh yeah, let's go!
Again, his 6th road course win. That's the most of any Xfinity Series driver ever.
That was a fight today. You know, we had to be kind of on defense early, worrying about the points. I'm just proud of everybody at Carl Grayson. You know, the big picture's championship.
So the Elite 8 for the Xfinity Championship are as follows: AJ Allmendinger, Austin Cindric, Justin Allgaier, Noah Gragson, Daniel Hemrick, Justin Haley, Harrison Burton, and Brandon Jones. Sunday, it was the Cup Series turn, and Kyle Larson overcame alternator belt issues, rebounding to score his 7th win of the season.
What a season it has been for Kyle Larson. He is going to become the first driver ever in the Cup Series to win 3 road course races in the same season. Kyle Larson, through the chicane for the final time, he will win at the Charlotte Roval.
Getting us changed, the battery changed, the alternator, whatever it takes to get it changed to get our battery stand running. But man, myHendrickCars.com Chevy was good. Glad to get another win and looking forward to the next round a lot.
But the sub-story centered on Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott, both battling to move on to the round of 8.
Oh, look out!
The 9 is around.
Big
the 4
damage
as well.
With their contact between him, look at the front bumper of the 4 car. Big damage to the nose.
Was that the payback from Bristol? Did Kevin Harvick wait until it mattered most for Chase Elliott? Let's take a look.
You're clear.
Wow. There was the contact. Sent him into the wall. Could that be the payback for Bristol a couple weeks ago?
The incident with the 9 early in the race, was that retaliation for Bristol?
Sometimes real life teaches you good lessons.
What was going on out there between you and Harvick?
Oh, I'm not sure, but really proud of our team. And as far as Kevin goes, just want to wish them a merry off season and a happy Christmas.
Your opinion of him wasn't too high after Bristol. I take it this does nothing for that.
Opinions certainly not changing.
In the end, Elliott was indeed successful, taking his wounded car to the checkered flag and cutting a ticket into the round of 8. But a late race crash put Harvick below the cut line and out of the playoffs. The 8 drivers moving on in the Cup Series are Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, and Brad Keselowski. The last 2 weeks saw plenty of short track action as well. PRN's At the Track host Lenny Baticki files this update.
Thanks a lot, Jack. Bonus time for us, and championships and big races still for all of grassroots racing as they finish out their 2021 season. We had a bit of history made at Nashville Fairgrounds over the last couple of weeks, where Brittany Zamora parked her late model in victory lane. Now, Brittany's a really good racer, but it's the first time she or any female had ever won at the fairgrounds. Now, we're talking about championships. How about New York's Tim McCreadie, crowned Lucas Oil Series champion, and the Donald Bradshaw, Bill Stein-backed Kevin Rumley prepared Longhorn chassis late model. What a car that's been all throughout the season. Modified championships, the NASCAR Whelen modified champion this year, Justin Bonsior. Smart Tour going to Burt Myers, the famed Myers family from Bowman Gray Stadium. Myers won the Smart Championship over Bobby Labonte. USAC Silver Crown to Cody Swanson. How about some street stock champions? We'll start out at Gas City, Indiana, where Jerry Gappens is the promoter. Well, their street stock champion is Andy Bishop. Jennerstown, Pennsylvania street stock champion this year, Casey Flegel. Now across the way in Pennsylvania at Lernerville, AJ Flick. They call him Complete Chaos on the internet. That's his Twitter handle. He's the sprint car champion at the speed plant there at Lernerville. Boone, North Carolina, up there by App State, Amanda Farmer crowned front-wheel drive champion. Well, one of the great short track nicknames, Veteran Clayman Raymond Pennington captured the late model championship. Ken Schrader's I-55 in Missouri, the late model champ there, Michael Clues, but Trev Jacoby grabbed his first modified championship in a David Rudeman prepared modified. How about that for the former Cup driver? IMCA National and Ohio 305 Race Saver Sprint Series, well, those championships going to Justin Clark. 13-year-old Courtney Stone, she won the Young Gun title at Isom, Kentucky's Mountain Motorsports Park. The Legend Series crowning Parker Eatman, the Young Lions national champion. And speaking of more young people, how about Teddy Kashadi out of Elko, Minnesota? He won the late model Rookie of the Year in a car with a chassis 10 years older than he was. Amazing there. And one sad note, the final race at Beach Ridge Motor Speedway happened over the last couple of weeks, but a happy time a bit for Wyatt Alexander. He won the late model race there at Beach Ridge for the final time. Goodbye to Beach Ridge and all the great memories that we have from that racetrack. Hopefully those racers and fans will find a new home. But that's all we have for now, Jack. Thanks for having us on. We'll see you next time.
I'm happy to be joined by the guy that's provided updates all season long from the weekly series world for Wind Tunnel, Lenny Baticki. And he also, by the way, hosts PRN's short track show At the Track. Hey, Lenny, welcome to this champion celebration. It's right in your wheelhouse. NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts weekly racing series action. And from Division 1 all the way down to Division 5, a fascinating mixture of drivers, disciplines, dirt versus asphalt.
You've got that right. And Peyton Sellers up there on top did a fantastic job, all on the pavement in the Virginia area, South Boston Speedway, Dominion Raceway. Great runs for him. But a couple of guys that were pretty interesting were the Division 4 and the Division 5 champions. And we can go into talking about them.
Let's start with Tom McCarthy III.
Tom McCarthy III working on the backside of roll. Years ago, look how close McCarthy gets. He was a national four-cylinder NASCAR champion. McCarthy with a hair bit of damage there.
McCarthy III grew up less than a mile away from Berlin Raceway in Marne, Michigan. Great track. Matt Preer does an excellent job up there. They actually have a couple of announcing positions up there, really entertain the fans well. And McCarthy ran in their four-cylinder division. He got 5 wins on the season, but even more importantly, he was within a handful of, I think it was 20 races. He was top 10 out of 21 he competed in, and that consistency of staying good kept him in the championship hunt. Has his whole family working with him, including his girlfriend and a former high school athlete. So interesting for him, maybe that this is really his first full season. He tried some races in 19, ran a few like everybody in 20, and then this full season with a $200 bought Chevrolet Cavalier that he's worked on because darn thing didn't run when he got it. Now has brought him a NASCAR championship in Division 4. So a great story for a young pavement racer doing it right there in the hometown.
Then, Lenny, there's the story of Chris Van Osdale, the Division 5 champion.
Green is out, and it means go. Osdale out in front. Bryant in second. Battle to the inside. He's, a little contact, but Osdale and Heising. They swap a little numbers there. Checkered flags out. Chris Van Osdale, Brian Van Osdale, Bobby Key, and Housley, your top 4.
Van Osdale stitched together 12 wins, 24 top 5s, and 27 top 10s in 30 starts at Iowa's Adams County Speedway and Nebraska's I-80 Speedway.
Yeah, Greenwood, Nebraska, I-80, not far from the home of the Cornhuskers. They've got a bright young couple of announcers there. They do some fantastic race reports and such. And Van Osdale has won championships there before, as well as Adams County in Iowa. The difference, in description of their race cars, I believe Adams County says compact only, and over at I-80, they call it Sport Compact, but it's basically a 4-cylinder car. It may be front-wheel drive at one track, rear-wheel drive at another, a little more horsepower depending on carburation, but closely resembling the cars that McCarthy runs on the pavement. And Van Osdale Just, again, a fantastic season with those dozen wins and almost a perfect top 10 running throughout the season. I think he missed, one or two himself, but staying that consistency brought him this championship that backs him up the one that he got last year.
Now, I had the distinct pleasure, and I'm going to pound my chest for the Northeastern racers, as David Greenslit took it right down to the wire, and we're going to be visiting with him a little bit later in the show to take that Division II title in a street stock. But then a little further down at Rhode Island doesn't have a racetrack at all, but just 2 miles from the Rhode Island line is the Seekonk Speedway. And that's where the victory or the national championship came right down to the end. And Chad Baxter took the title on pavement, both of them. They're going to be our guests, as well as Peyton Sellers. And it is an amazing conversation that I had with Peyton. He's visited before. A guy that, when he won his first championship, thought it was going to launch him into stardom. Had some starts, ran what is now known as the K&N ARCA East program, got some starts in trucks, actually tried his hand at Xfinity. And despite success or the lack thereof, he decided to retreat back, and now has just had his foot on the throat of the Mid-Atlantic short track scene now for several years. He finished second last year to the biggest story, and we all celebrate it, and that of Josh Berry, but finally closed the deal for his second championship. We'll get a chance to meet with him. But going back to Baxter and Greenslit, I was actually calling Greenslit's next to last race at Monadnock Speedway. And he was points chasing. There was no question. But he laid it all on the line. And then he had to go to Hudson Speedway the next day because the clock was going to run out at 12 midnight that Sunday. He wins the championship by 8 points. The other side of the coin, Chad Baxter. Both of them in what we call support divisions. But in my conversations, I found it interesting. Both of them have tried their hand at other divisions of racing, and they found their homes in these lower divisions of racing. And I'll give everybody a sneak peek, including you. In my conversation with Greenslit, I'm going to paraphrase. He says, because I have a better feel for the race car. I like getting it sideways. I enjoy mixing it up. We sometimes neglect these, what I call support divisions in the weekly racing series. And yet, I got to tell you, they race just as hard, as far as I'm concerned, as whatever spotlight division at whatever racetrack is actually the featured division on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
I think that's one of the great things about the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series is that it's not all about super late models or late model racing and the things that Peyton Sellers gets celebrated for in what he does. But you look at the other four divisions come from much smaller, much more local race cars, and that's a tribute to them. Those are the cars that are going to Advanced Auto Parts to buy parts so they can go race.
Well, listen, we continue to tip our cap to what I like to call you, the gatekeeper to all that is local racing, short track racing, specifically the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series. Appreciate your passion. And if people want to know more, not just about the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, but racing across America, you do such a great job. Tell them where they need to go, Lenny.
Well, follow us on PRNs at the Track on our social media. We really try to pump out the information on PRNs at the Track on Twitter. You can hear our shows at goprn.com. And it's always an honor and a pleasure to be a part of Team Wind Tunnel with Jack Arute.
I like the way you say that. All right, let's light this candle, shall we, on this victory celebration. Coming up next, we will visit with the man that bested the rest at Seekonk Speedway to tie down the Division III National Championship.
Look at Baxter, 3 wide down the backstretch. They're 3 wide in 2 different rows.
Chad Baxter, front and center, after these messages.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Welcome back to Wind Tunnel's weekly racing series championship celebration.
Baxter within a half of car length off of turn 4. The white flag is in the air, and Baxter is looking to the inside of Fanning.
He captured NASCAR's Division III National Championship. He is Chad Baxter.
Look at Baxter, 3 wide down the backstretch. They're 3 wide in 2 different rows. Baxter comes to life. He is out like a bear. Baxter is on the move, and do not count him out at any time.
Here's your host for this celebration, Jack Arute.
He's made the Seekonk Speedway in Massachusetts his racing home for a number of years. And Chad Baxter's trophy case includes some track championship hardware, but never a national title trophy. Well, that changed this season as the dump truck mechanic drove his Sportsman Division ride to 6 wins, 13 top 5s in 15 races, beating California's Ian Rotundo for the NASCAR Division III National Championship. And he joins me now. Chad, congratulations on winning a national title.
Thank you.
Last season, Seekonk found itself shuttered due to COVID-19 protocols, and you found yourself in a garage with a car up on blocks. It was a brand new car, as I understand it. So how difficult was it for you to sit out the 2020 season?
It wasn't terrible seeing it. I had another car, but it was the brand new one, trying to get to use that. That was the like the heartbreaker, is having a new one, and we were driving around in an antique.
While Seekonk was shuttered, how did you get your racing fix, Chad?
Well, we ended up we had to wait a while, and we started off. We went to Star a few times, and then Waterford finally opened up, and we were able to finish the year out at Waterford.
Now, you've won track championships before, but what does winning a national championship mean to Chad Baxter?
Well, it's just like a great accomplishment to be able to win over so many different people and all the different tracks. Granted, just win a regular track championship over 30 people or so is a great accomplishment.
So when did you actually begin to think, hey, if I can keep this up by the end of the season, I very well could win my first national title?
Well, it wasn't until one of the guys that I work with, he keeps up on all the different stats and stuff, and he was telling me where I was, and it was, week after week, I'm moving up. I was like, wow, we might have something for this. And but I just kept on, just needed to do what I wanted to do and go out and win. And in the end, it'll be there.
So until you got the notification from NASCAR, did you even believe that you had actually done what you had never done before, and that's become a national champion?
Yeah, I definitely had to wait until they told me. Can't take it all for just hoping and whatnot.
Tell me a little bit about how you got involved in racing, and tell me about the first time that you slid into the seat of a race car.
Well, I got involved in racing through my father. My father had a race cars when we were growing up, and we'd always go to the racetrack. And so I was young when, I was always sitting in his cars as he was working on them and whatnot.
So you were a dreamer early on that you were going to someday have the opportunity to wheel it. So after your first race, what did you think?
It was definitely a different experience after your first race when you seeing stuff. It was really like my first practice that we went. I took a main stock out up at Thompson, and they threw us out there with late models and stuff. And that was like nerve-wracking because those guys are flying around there versus the main stock.
Thompson got to be the biggest track in the Northeast outside of New Hampshire. You go out there, you're in with a much speedier division. Was there a moment in the car where you go, my God, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, it's a little bit like that, especially when you look in the rearview mirror, it's all blurry, and then they just fly right by you.
When did it all begin to make sense for you? When did you get comfortable?
It didn't take too long before I got comfortable in there, like a couple of races. So, and I was okay with it.
You know, in this march to the championship, Chad, you put together a pretty impressive finishing record with the 6 victories. You also had 13 top 5s in 15 races. Is the pathway to winning a title paved with being there at the end in the top 5?
Yeah, you definitely you have to first finish to be able to get anything. So you gotta take what the car can give you on a week to week and not push it, but you also gotta be smart about what the choices and passing people when you're doing it.
I've had the good fortune to be at Seekonk and watch you drive up through the pack. A lot of folks don't realize that in other regions, the fast cars start up front. That's not the case here in the Northeast. A handicap system always found guys like Chad Baxter starting towards the rear of the field. Did that bother you, or did you enjoy that, trying to carve your way up back to the front?
I like it because I like to be able to pass people. I don't want to start up in the front and just like either have the faster car where you can just drive away, or you just like wait for somebody else faster to come by or try to block them or whatever. You know, I'd rather be a faster car and passing people, making it through the field.
Racing at your level and driving a Sportsman predominantly at Seekonk each and every Saturday night. Let's face it, it's a hobby. It demands an awful lot, though, from you and also from your friends who work and get the car ready for every Saturday night. Is it worth it all, Chad?
Sometimes you don't think it is, but like when it is at the end of the day, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of stress, but in the end, it's all worth it.
Now that hobby has delivered you a national championship. Has it sunk in?
Not like, I don't know. I think it'd have to sink in once I get there. We start celebrating and see this big trophies. Like,
listen, you deserve it. You put together a whale of a season. Last question from me. Are you going to defend your national title? Are you going to go after it again next year?
Oh, we're definitely going to give it a shot.
There's no doubt in my mind that you'll give it more than a shot. Chad, congratulations, and I do appreciate your visiting with us here inside the wind tunnel on our very special NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series Championship Edition. Have a good off season and start racking up those wins as soon as they open Seekonk and go after another national title. Thanks again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chad.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Time to meet the Division II NASCAR Weekly Series National Champion.
While the national championship in Division I was pretty much Peyton Sellers right from the halfway mark of the season, things were a little bit different when we take a look at who captured the title in Division II. He races on a regular basis at Monadnock, Hudson, Clarement, Lee USA Speedways, all in New Hampshire. And last season, the winner was David Greenslit. He won by just 2 points, and he joins me now. And this season, David, well, you had a little breathing room, didn't you? Only 8 points separated you first for the title from Terry Schultz, the Midwest region champ. But you got the job done on the final weekend.
Yeah, we knew we had to gain some points there the last weekend, so we went down to Monadnock, and it was either wins or seconds was the only way we could gain points in the national title. So we finished second last weekend there down in Monadnock, and then we went to Hudson the next day, and we knew we had to win down there. So we started sixth and quickly made our way to the front and got it done.
When you have that pressure on your back in the final weekend, do you race any differently? Also, knowing that here in the Northeast, it's a long winter, so there's time to fix the car.
Yeah, I mean, I always try to race all my competitors clean in the same way they race me. And that's why I've gained so much respect, I feel, across the map with all of the tracks I race at and whatnot. And but it was definitely time to go that last weekend and prove what we had.
David, when did you begin to take seriously the opportunity that 2021 was going to present, that you could repeat as the Division II national champion?
We went into the season with the expectations we were going to try to win it again and push for it. So that's why, I mean, we raced 35 races this year already, and we're really trying to push for that title. So,
you know, when I rattled off all those New Hampshire tracks, and they're all somewhat affiliated one with the other, and yet it makes for pretty busy weekends and a very busy summer. So how do you keep the car together and ready to go at each and every race? You just said 35 events. That's a ton over a Northeast summer.
Yeah, I mean, we have 2 cars in the garage, or we did have 2 cars in the garage. I drove a car for one of my buddies I met on iRacing, Tony Quadros, at at Clarement on Friday nights, and then we ran a different car at Monadnock and at Hudson on Sundays.
You know, I was fortunate enough to be up there on that Whitcomb weekend, the finale at Monadnock, and what I thought was, well, no surprise to me because of my short track background, is just how passionate short track fans are for drivers, whether they're running late models or they're running street stocks or limited late model, no matter what. There is such a direct connection one with the other. Do you feel that? I mean, does that give you a bigger sense of accomplishment, knowing that the stands are packed and they interact, and I could feel the electricity up there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've got people coming up to me that I have no clue who they are, and they've said they've been rooting for me for years. And I mean, I'm the average guy. I don't make $1 million, and I just I love racing, so it's in my blood, and that's what me and my guys do. We work on the cars 6-7 days a week and bring what the best car we could have to the track, and try to make those guys really cheer us on.
Tell me a little bit about, air quotes, those guys, because they're the unsung heroes behind any win, any race, let alone a national title. You mentioned that you put in a lot of late nights. Tell me a little bit about your crew that supports you.
So I got some really good people helping me. I got, like I said, Tony Quadros. He owned my car that I ran at Clarement. I met him on iRacing a few years back, and
that to me is amazing. How did that come about? I mean, you raced against him or what?
Yeah, we raced against him. He joined a league I was racing in, and we just hit it off and talked. He lives a couple hours from me, and he loves racing. He just doesn't have the passion to get in the seat, and wanted to be a car owner. So we really hit it off and made some big plans, and we fulfilled all of those. So it was awesome.
Dave, where do you think you've increased your racecraft? Where have you gotten better over the years?
So when I first started, I started at Thunder Road, and I absolutely sucked. I mean, I wadded up more cars in the first couple of years than anybody probably ever has. And then I went down to Clarement in 2010 and figured it out with a rear wheel drive V8 car, and been winning them since then. It's been a real good ride. I mean, I've raced everything from late models to modifieds, and I just love the street stocks. They're real competitive, and it's a great group of guys to race with. Everybody will help each other out.
I would think in the seat too, because you can get the car a little slideways. That's the fast way around. That it's got to juice you up, and that's why you stay in the street stocks.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot more on the driver. I mean, the setups are definitely important, but not as important as it would be in like a modified or something like that.
All right, so you've won 2. 2022 will be fast upon us, and they'll be opening up in New Hampshire at Hudson, Clarement, Lee, and of course Monadnock. What's on the agenda? You going to go after number 3?
Next year we're planning on cutting back a little bit, running Clarement mainly. This year was a lot, running Hudson and Clarement full time. We ended up winning both track championships, but it was a lot of work. So I think next year we're going to take a little step back and just run Clarement weekly and run a few big open shows here and there.
I do want to drill into the fact that with the support of Advance Auto Parts, there seems to be a new refocus on short track heroes such as yourself. They have done a terrific job. But I also wonder how you, as a recipient of that increased marketing and public relations commitment, how you greet what they've done over really a season and a half, because you can't count COVID 2020 as the real opportunity for them to maximize their participation and partnership with short track racing.
Yeah, I mean, Advanced Auto Parts came on and it revitalized everything for the short track racing community. I mean, there's people that are trying to run for these national championships now that people have never really heard of. And it's huge to get back to the short track community. I mean, that's really the unsung heroes in racing, I feel, is the local guys that are out there on Friday, Saturday nights and battling for wins and putting all the passion into it.
David, I know it's a hobby, but yet it's got an incredible amount of passion. Can you describe to folks what that sense is when you strap yourself into that car, take the green flag, forget about when you get to victory lane, but just simply measuring yourself against others for 20, 30, whatever the lap count may be in a feature event?
Yeah, I mean, I still get the butterflies when I strap in every time. And you're always feeling what the car's doing and trying to figure out how it can be better and whatnot. I mean, even when you win, you always want to figure out what the car is doing so you can figure out how you can get it better for the next week. And the competitors and stuff, I mean, you know who you can race door to door with, and you know who you have to get by fairly quick to try not to get wrecked.
Physical or mental? I know it's a combination of both, but I've seen cats get out of a race car after winning an event and their fire suit is drenched. So I understand the physical side, but I also see them and they look a little punch drunk. They look as if maybe they need to give their mind a rest. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've had those days. We had a race down Hudson this year where it was, I think it was 95, 96 degrees. And I get out of the car, I was completely done mentally and physically. I mean, trying to wheel the car and keep focused on everything for a race. And when it's that hot out, it's hard.
Well, championships have now been determined on the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts weekly series, but we still have a championship, actually 3 of them, that's unfolding at the NASCAR Premier level. Do you follow any of that? And do you find yourself saying, hey, I'm no different than Chase Elliott, you name it, John Hunter Nemechek, it doesn't really matter. Is there a difference between you and them?
A lot less money on my side.
Yeah, and no jet. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. I mean, they're just hard-nosed racers like everybody else. I mean, they put in the time. They have the resources to get to where they are. I mean, I don't honestly have that passion to get to that level. I mean, this is just a hobby for me and my guys, and we like to have fun every week. When it's not fun, we'll not be doing it anymore.
Well, hopefully it'll continue to be fun for a long, long time. Congratulations on your second championship. And I really do appreciate your stopping by and being part of our Advanced Auto Parts Championship celebration. Thanks so much, David. And as I said, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Wind Tunnel's championship celebration continues.
Here comes Sellers, strong up on the outside. Here comes Sellers to the low side off turn number 4, and he'll get top position.
You'll meet the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series Division 1 champion, Peyton Sellers, right after this.
With Advanced Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advanced Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advanced Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Welcome back to Wind Tunnel's Weekly Racing Series Championship Celebration.
And look at this race up front. Pembleton, Sellers going at it. Here comes Sellers, strong up on the outside. 3 wide, got Sellers up in the marbles. Here comes Sellers to the low side off turn number 4, and he'll get top position. Sellers sees the checkers once again. And Sellers celebrating yet another victory in his storied career so far in late model stock.
Here's your host, Jack Arute.
Well, they say that all good things come to those who practice, shall we say, some patience. And I think this year's Advance Auto Parts NASCAR Weekly Racing Series Division I champion can attest to that, because it's been 16 years since he captured his first title, and now in 2021 he gets his second. He joins me now, Peyton Sellers. Peyton, that's a bit of a wait. Back then, you were the youngest driver to have ever won a national title, and now you're just an old guy.
Absolutely. You know, I'm racing against guys younger than the distance between my championships. So it's definitely a turning of the tables from being the youngest national champion to all of a sudden being, 37 years old and being another national champion. So it's been a good ride. I've had an opportunity to race for a living for many years and do it on the national levels and the local levels. And to sit and say that you've run for national titles every year, it's hard to do because everything has to fall into place early in the year to be able to set you up for a championship run later in the year. So truthfully, I've only competed for probably 4 national titles since 2005. I've done other stuff. I've raced K&N and Xfinity and that sort of thing and had a lot of opportunities and really didn't run complete years in late model stock racing. So to be able to come back at 37 and still compete at this level on a national level with the Advanced Auto Parts Series has been, a really neat opportunity.
I find it a little ironic because, look, you visited with us several times during the season, and we talked, I think the first time we spoke, about what COVID-19 forced you to do, and that was to not race at South Boston because it was shuttered, and that's your home track. So you took your Danville Toyota and that Clarence's Steakhouse sponsorship and drove a number of hours to race at Dominion Raceway. And yet, when I look at what you did this season, that COVID-19 experience allowed you to expand and set the table to chase for the title.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, that God's got a plan for each and every step of our journey, and to have the experience that I've got right now and to have the comfort knowing that, Clarence's Steakhouse has been with me since 2001 on and off. Danville Toyota's been with me since 1999 on and off. To have those kind of relationships, to know that they can help put the funding there and they have the confidence in me to push forward, that gave me a lot of ability to last year I kind of stepped outside of our comfort zone to go for a track championship at Dominion. Well, this year, when all the pieces fell into place, the sponsorship was there, the opportunity was there, the tracks worked together on their scheduling, only one race conflicted all year. So I was able to go to South Boston and Dominion week in and week out and run for a championship at each track. Well, South Boston's car count this year was in the 14 to 17, 18 range. Dominion had a car count between the 18 and 22 range. So Dominion had plenty of car count. Our car was really good there this year. We won 11 races up there. South Boston runs 2 tires, so it's a lot trickier trying to get a car dialed in on 2 new tires every week. So it was just a blessing and a God thing to be able to compete at both tracks, to be able to win 2 titles, and that set the stage to be able to win the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series National Championship.
Peyton, when did you set your sights on the national title? Early in the season, before the season started? Talk me through a little bit of the thought process.
So last year we ran second to Josh Berry. Everybody knows the resources that JR Motorsports has. Everybody knows the talent that Josh Berry has. Put those together and they were very tough. They won a lot of races last year. But last year we didn't really decide like, hey, we're going to go out and run for a national championship until, honestly, it was August. We started doubling up and running some races at Southern National and different places, trying to Langley and trying to get some extra points. But it was too late. The points had already been, whoever got in early got some points ahead. Well, this year we just said, look, we're going to start out. We're going to kind of go to Dominion. We're going to go to South Boston. We'll run along. If things are going well, we'll keep going. If not, we'll just pull out of one or the other and focus on one track. Well, the middle of June, late June is when we kind of said, you know what? If we've won 7 or 8 races by now, let's let's stick it out. Let's do whatever it takes to make this happen. So that's when we kind of said, you know what, Clarence's, they were like, hey, let's go race. They were good, as long as we were winning races and things were going well. But we had one night where we wrecked 2 cars. We went to South Boston one night, dropped the green flag. We started 5th, and the 2 guys in front of us crashed. We got in tied up there. So we had to go to a backup car for the second race. We line up like 15th, 16th, somewhere back in the back. They dropped the green flag. The guy running 8th misses a gear, crashes the whole field. We knocked a clip off. We tore up 2 cars. That was the only 2 cars we tore up until the very last race of the year at Dominion. And by then, the points was already settled out. So we just, things just worked out well. We didn't have any crash damage. We didn't have any parts failures. Our engine stayed strong all year. And, things just kind of worked out. So truthfully, when we looked at the points and said, you know what, this thing is doable, it was probably late June, which was earlier than typical for a lot of guys. We were able to get up on a lot of the guys. And I really feel like in August, the guys that had won 5 or 6 races at their home track and said, let's look at a national title. They looked at me and said, oh, Sellers is too far out, so let's not try to double up and race more. So I think it kind of shied them away from wanting to compete for it once we got so many wins early on.
I like to call it, and in fact, I mentioned it several times, including in my opening conversation in this episode with Lenny Baticki, that early on, you asserted your big shoe on the neck of all your competition. Did you ever in your career enjoy 21 wins and 37 starts, 29 top 5s, and 5 runner-up finishes? I mean, to me, that's the definition of domination.
It really was, but it seemed like to me every race was just as hard to win as the one before. It never did I say, you know what, these things are easy. They're coming easy. We just got to show up and we're going to win. Every week we're practicing on Friday. We're getting ready. We're buying practice tires. We're kind of putting in the work. Monday morning, we're regrouping, seeing what we could do better, to be ready for the next week. So, yes, it did look easy from the outside, but no, when you're living it every week, you're trying to work a full-time job during the week so that you can hustle up and get all your work done on Thursday so you can go practice on Friday. It definitely, it puts its toll on your family, your personal life, your everything. And I've got crew guys that have just stood by my side all year and been with me forever. And it takes a lot of effort on a lot of people to be able to do this. And when we jumped up early, it gave everybody that little bit of extra boost to say, you know what, we're going to dig in here and try to make this thing happen.
Last time we visited, you alluded to the fact that not only are you and your crew preparing and fielding cars for Peyton Sellers, but also you've expanded and now you're providing mounts for other drivers, guys that you've got to race against. And you mentioned, you feel very fortunate that you're able to make a living in racing. I'm seeing more and more on the weekly short tracks, guys like you that want to continue to race and chase for championships, but also, and I don't know if you want to call it paying forward or whatever, that are bringing additional cars for drivers that they're going to have to line up against in the feature event. Is that a trend that we're beginning to see more?
Well, it's a business thing. When you're a dad and you've got a son that wants to be a race car driver, and you look at, say, all right, I've done go-karting, I've done Legends cars, whatever it is. When you go to that next level, you either use late model stock racing and this platform as a stepping stone, or you use it as a comfort area to where you can just say, where we're going to settle in, we can afford to do this. If you want to make it a stepping stone, you don't want to go out and invest in cars and trailers and equipment to do this. You want to go to a company, you want to get over that learning curve right away, and you want to contact somebody like us that can say, hey, bolt in, go fast. And that's what it's all about. And you're able to work on the driver's abilities and his race skill, and you're not really working on the cars. The cars are already kind of set up. You know that, hey, if I drive this car to the best of its ability, it's going to be a 4th place car tonight at South Boston. Well, if I make the right adjustments and I have the right feel, that seat of the pants feel, and I can tell the crew chief what to do, we can make that 4th place car a winning car. Whereas if dad goes out and buys a good used car from somebody, a good used motor, he buys a truck and trailer and radios and everything it takes to go do it, he's mired up. He can't focus on making that car fast because he's made all this investment. And, we have parents that come to us and says, I want to give my kid the best opportunity I can do to win at this level. I want you to work with him. I want you to coach him, make him a race driver. And we've got a young kid, Landon Pimbleton, that's racing out of our shop this year. He's 16 years old. He just won the biggest race of the year in late model stock racing in Martinsville. He won $32,000 in a grandfather clock. And this kid has raced good all year. He's got a lot of ability. He's been able to hone it, but also we've given cars that were fast right out of the box too. So we've given him fast cars. We've had several restarts late in the races where me and him were, putting donuts down each other's car, trying to race back to the win. And that has made him a better driver, so that when he got that opportunity at Martinsville, he knew what to do. It wasn't new to him. So that's the kind of things that I take a lot of pride in, being able to coach young kids and work with them. Here at Sellers Racing, we have got 6 full-time employees, and counting my brother. He kind of leads up the show HC. He's my crew chief on the weekends, but during the week, he's building cars for other people, and our guys here in the shop doing that. I work in my family's construction company, but it's all right in the same building. My office is right beside my brother's office, who's right beside the race shop and the construction shop. So we're all right here together. It's a family deal for us. My mom's up front in the office. My dad's up front. We're all here together working, pulling in the same direction. Meanwhile, the race team, the race shop supports itself 100%, and it's able to help my racing go a lot easier. I provide a product out on the track every week, winning races that attracts young drivers to us and older drivers. We provide services for whoever, whether it be hanging a body or stringing a car or, pulling it down, whatever it is. And, that's kind of helped us be a better race team week in and week out.
All right. I want to circle back because you brought it up, Martinsville, and I'm going to call him your teammate. Okay. Because look, you provide the chair for him. Landon's out front. You're starting to make the charge because you're a smart enough driver that 300 laps is brutal on equipment. And also you don't want to leave it all on the table in the beginning. We get down to the waning laps. You're about to push the go pedal and try to come to the front to trade some wheel donuts with your teammate. And what happened?
Well, we were in good position. We won our heat. We were running third at the first break. The second break, we had dropped back to 8th or 9th, maybe 10th, because everybody else took tires early on. We got our 2 tires. We came back out, and it's time to kind of drop the hammer and go. When it come time to go, we didn't have anything to go with. We had our left rear tire had a hole in it, had a slow leak. We finished the race in 19th, dropped way back. The tire's going slack. I feel it. The car's bottoming out. It's just a handful getting through the corners. And I'm like, I need a caution. Do I spin somebody? do I myself? What do I do here? I got to get a caution. Martinsville is a track that always has cautions at the end of these races. They never go green flag. And the last 40 laps went green flag. I'm watching the scoreboard because they've got a big enough Megatron in the middle of the track down there. I'm like, Landon's leading. Mike Looney's second. I'm like, I can't bring out a caution for that sake, but we need a caution bad right now. So I nursed my car home to a 19th place finish with 8 pounds of air in the left rear at the end of the race. And Landon goes to victory lane. We had a young kid, Daniel Silvestri, racing out of our shop, running his car. He's won a Cars Tour race this year. He qualified on the pole for Martinsville. Colin Garrett was racing for us. He's been running some Xfinity cars this year. He had a very good showing at Martinsville, had a fast car and just wasn't able to complete it at the end of the race. But man, we had an amazing night to be able to, I was fastest in practice. Daniel qualified on the pole. I won my heat and Landon won the feature. So it was kind of a big night for Sellers Racing as a whole.
Tonight, the return of the Valley Star Credit Union 300, the nation's richest and most prestigious NASCAR late model stock car race. Danville native Peyton Sellers, in search of his first win at the paperclip, had a good run, but in the end, 16-year-old Landon Pimbleton took the checkered flag and the grandfather clock.
Man, as a driver and driving that Clarence's car at Martinsville in their hometown, I needed a caution. I needed to get a left rear tire on that thing and get back out there and see if I could push my way to the front, but it just didn't play out that way. And you know how racing is. You've been around this stuff long enough to where, it's a famous word. It's always next year, but it definitely, that's something that I'm missing out of my trophy case that I would love to have.
Yeah, it's got to kill you that the kid went home with that giant and famous grandfather clock, and you still got a hole in your trophy case. But the good news is you got a pretty hefty trophy and a pretty good paycheck coming courtesy of Advance Auto Parts, and you're celebrated as a NASCAR champion. Not only you leading Division I, but by the time we get to season's end, whoever wins the Cup title, whoever wins the truck title or the Xfinity title, They'll be champions, but you'll be on that stage along with them as being a national champion. And you did it the hard way, my friend. Continued success. My best wishes to you and your family. And you're a good friend of the wind tunnel. And we stand up and salute you for what you accomplished this season.
Jack, I appreciate it. Thank you guys. And thank Advance Auto Parts. Without them sponsoring this series, we don't have a platform. We don't have a national platform to compete for a national title. And, I'm watching guys at Irwindale. I'm watching Jacob Gady out at La Crosse and different places. And, competing against guys from coast to coast. And that's what makes this sport what it is. So just thank you guys for being a part of it. And thank you for having me on.
We'll do it again soon. Good luck, my friend.
This is our contract with our military, that when you go to serve your country, when you give your kids a kiss goodbye and you do not come home, we are going to give them a mortgage-free home.
There are over 7,000 service members who were killed protecting our country since 9/11. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is now delivering mortgage-free homes to those Gold Star families.
I am Nancy Gass, the wife of Staff Sergeant Jerry Gass Jr. My husband was 33 when he died in the line of duty in Afghanistan. The day those two officers arrived, and my door was the worst day of my life.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is now delivering mortgage-free homes to over 1,000 Gold Star families with young children who are waiting for a home. I'd like to ask you to contribute $11 a month to support their effort.
Please call 1-844-BRAVEST or go to tunneltotowers.org.
Have you forgotten?
Congratulations to NASCAR's 5 Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series national champions. Each one toiled long and hard, and each showed the power of passion and what it can bring. And, of course, thank you for celebrating their accomplishments by downloading this episode of Wind Tunnel. Quick reminder, my next special bonus episode drops on Wednesday, October 27th. Your support of Wind Tunnel is much appreciated, and I sincerely thank you for helping to make this series one of the top motorsports podcasts in the entire podcasting universe. Reminder that you can stay in touch through our social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, as well as our YouTube channel. And make sure that you check out our show's website as well. It's jackaruteswindtunnel.com. I'm Jack Arute saying so long for now from inside the wind tunnel.